Okay, I am determined to get this video done today, so I'm going to stand outside. It's actually really nice weather today in the Boston area. This is my house, by the way. My lovely house. I was inside. I wanted to get it done inside, but I guess maybe I'll get better connection. I'm going to try, guys. I'm really apologize for the bad connection. How are you being seen by anyone and everyone around you? Do people see you as important? Are they looking at you as someone who has authority, who is an expert? Are they wanting to do business with you? Are they wanting to be your friend? Are they wanting to be your lover? Are they wanting to be around you? So this story comes from a couple of weeks ago when I was in Key West. And some of you may have been watching. I was publicizing my book, doing a book tour, and I went down to Key West to visit where I'm from, rented a convertible and all that fun stuff. And this is about what happened when I was there, being recognized by someone whom I had only met one time in my life. Hi, Rebecca. God, I hope it stays on this time. I kept getting cut off. I apologize. So I'm in Key West, and I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail, hat down because my face is allergic to the sun, had my sunglasses on, etc. And nobody would recognize, I wouldn't think. I mean, the way we look when we put makeup on and fix our hair compared to the way we look when we're not is very different. But I'm walking around, I'm even on the phone, I'm like really intensely in this conversation, this really cool strategy call that I'm on with some folks. And I hear my voice, or I hear my name. I hear somebody call my name. And so I think, that can't be for me. I don't know anybody here. I was visiting Key West because I was born there, but I've never been there. So so I thought, well, nobody here knows me. Maybe I'm just hearing Tammy or Candy or something. But it actually turns out that it was somebody that I had met one time in my life, 15 years ago, and I assure you I look different then, as we all look different 5, 10, 15 years ago and from now. And so as this person comes up and pokes me on the shoulder, I was shocked because it's actually my aunt that I met one time 15 years ago at my mother's funeral. So this is about how people see you. Do they see you as important? Do they recognize you? Do they feel your energy? Guys, there's no way she could have just recognized me the way that my hair was and sunglasses on. There was something in my voice, the way that I talk, the energy that I was giving out, the things that I say. And the reason why she recognized me, lesson number one, the reason why she recognized me is because even though I only met her one time, over the last 2 or 3 years, she's been watching me on Facebook. So she's been watching me grow, watching my business grow, just wanting to get to know me as my aunt. She lives in Minnesota. I live in the Northeast. And so first of all, the reason she even recognized me was because of how I have been packaging, presenting, posturing, positioning myself in social media. So she tapped me on the shoulder because she recognized me from hearing my voice and just knowing my posture, my body language, and the way that I talk. So that is very interesting. You are right, Ronald. I am very unique and certainly a presence. Thank you for saying that. So my question to you is, do people recognize you by your uniqueness, your posturing, your presence? Do they hear your voice and not even see your face and know who you are in a good way, I hope? And then the second part of that, so now I'm talking to her, we are hugging, her husband's there, her son, who's my cousin, and I don't know anything about having blood relatives. It's very bizarre to me because I was adopted and wasn't raised with any. So I'm hanging out with these people that are my blood relatives. And my aunt says this to me. She says, I've been watching you on Facebook. And she says, you seem so important. And my cousin, her son, said, yeah, you're like a really important person. And I said to them immediately, I said, isn't that interesting that that's your first thought of me when we are starting to talk to one another? Because that's the way that I position myself. Whether I am or not, whether you are or not, whether we are millionaires, whether we've had 1 million people read our books, whether we've been in business for 6 months, 6 years, 26 years, when we walk into any situation, and when I talk about networking, people will say, well, I don't really go out networking, or I do it on the internet, or whatever that is. Guys, when I talk about networking, which, by the way, networking doesn't work. Networking doesn't work. Netwebbing, creating a web of people that are strategically planned in our life and create a web where we now are attracting referral partners, that's a little different. But here's the thing. We are networking when we email, when we Facebook, when we get on the phone, when we are walking into a networking event. Anytime we are communicating with another person or group of people, or presenting ourselves like I am right now, like you do every time you make a video or make a phone call or send an email, any of that stuff, are you positioning yourself as the expert and the authority in your field? Because until you see yourself that way, I promise you nobody else will. People come to me to work with me about, Cami, what do I say in this situation, in that situation? What do I say to people when I'm at a networking event? How do I follow up? What do you say in emails or in calls when you're getting yourself booked to speak? You know, all these different things that they want to know. And when we start working together, what we both find out, and what I really knew to start off with, because it's even more and more clear to me all the time, is that it's not so much what we say, it's how we say it, and who we be, how we be. Because I can give you all the best words and lingo and phrases and scripts in the world, but if you don't believe it, if you don't feel it, thank you, Jeffrey, spot on. I appreciate you saying that, because this, guys, this is so key. My aunt, I had only met one time in my life, 15 years ago, recognized my voice, recognized my physical posture, came up and said hello to me, and then told me that she receives and perceives me as being very important. Now, whether I am or not, like I said, whether you are 20 years in your business or 2 days, whether you are super duper successful or just opened the doors yesterday, how are people seeing you? Because when you don't see yourself as the expert, nobody else ever will. And when you do see yourself as the expert, the words that you say and who you are being take on a whole new meaning. I was talking with one of my clients about getting booked to speak. And she said, when we created her speaker packet, and she got really clear on the caliber of people that she had been working with as a branding expert, when she got really clear on all the accomplishments of her clientele, like, wow, she said, wow, I've worked with some really top of the line, top notch people. She said, Cami, I feel really good about that. Thank you for giving me a new perspective on the people that I've been working with. She said, I feel really good about myself. I said, that's right. You should. You should. It's taken on a new perspective, new perception. So once we got that in her head about the value that she actually brought to the table, then we started talking about when she called people or emailed, but I prefer the call. That's right. The phone was created to do this, or this as it is now. She said, well, when I get on the phone with people, I feel like I'm talking them into having me, or I want to see if they will allow a speaker, or talk to them about, asking for a favor. And I said, once we created that speaker packet and you saw the magnitude of the people that you've worked with, and you realized your power and presence and what you do is so important, that you've worked with this person and this person who've succeeded in this, and 7-figure coaches and multi-million-dollar this, that, and the other thing. I said, do you see value in what you do? She said, absolutely. I said, okay, so you see value in what you do. I said, if you were to get on these people's conference calls, webinars, stages, do you think that what you're presenting would be a benefit to them? She said, absolutely. I said, then why are we going to the table? Why are we going to the call? Why are we going into the networking event? Why are we even going into the email with the mindset of, I wonder if they'll do me a favor. I wonder if they'll let me get on their stage. I don't even know if they allow speakers there, Cami. Guys, step into who you are, step into who you're being, and are you being the kind of person where when you get on the phone, you simply say, listen, I would love to support your people. I'd love to do you a favor. I'd love to do you a favor and get on your stage. Because that's a whole different way of being. So, do people see you as important? Do they see you as the expert? Do they see you as the person that they want to work with? One of the ways that we can do that is by being the event. And I talk about that all the time. See, right now, on this Facebook Live, as you watch this, I am being the event. This is it. This is what you're looking at, right? And I'm just doing it from holding my phone. But before I got on the phone, I had to know what I was going to talk about. And before I knew what I was going to talk about, I had to believe in what I was going to talk about. I had to believe that I had value to even get on this camera, on this phone, on this Facebook Live. And when I work with my clients on being the event, this is what I'm talking about. Do you feel confident enough that you are attracting clients, that you are creating credibility in your marketplace, that you are leveraging your time with the right people, that you're leveraging your time when you go networking to create your net web? Are you leveraging your time by doing it strategically? Because if you're not, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. I can help you posture yourself through your Facebook medium, through your emails, through your texting, through how you're being when you walk into a room, when you get on the phone, and if you actually want to get on a stage, create fundraisers, do community awareness stuff, all of that, it takes strategy. It takes strategy. If I were to tell you a $5,000 investment would put $100,000 in your pocket this year and next year and consistently for the rest of your career and actually build up to more and more and more income, because the better we get at something, the better we get at it and the more income we make. If I were to tell you that, the average business person would say, well, duh, yeah, I'll write a check for $5,000 in order to make $100,000 this year and that much and even more every year past. Well, guys, that's what this is about. It's about marketing yourself. Because when people say, well, you know, I need more marketing, Cami, I need more marketing. And I'll ask them, what does that mean to you? And people have a little bit different definition of marketing. But overall, to me, the simple definition of marketing is what you do to get people to the table. Sales is what you do when they're at the table. Whether you're sitting at the table getting a contract signed, or whether they're coming to your website and that's your table, right? So marketing is what gets them to the table. Sales is what closes them after they get to the table. But one of the definitions one woman gave me was, marketing is to show my value in the marketplace. Isn't that the same thing? To show your value in the marketplace means somebody out there that's a potential client or customer sees enough value in you to get to the table and discuss doing business. So when we are talking about marketing, people have different definitions of it, but at the end of the day, and one of the reasons I ask people, what do you mean by marketing? Because some people think marketing is an ad in the newspaper, or flyers that they mail out, or some, I don't know, e-blast campaign. And all of that is marketing to a certain extent because you are showing your value in the marketplace. But even if you're sending out flyers, and even if you're doing an email blast, there's going to come some point in your career, some point in your life where you have got to be able to communicate with another human being. Whether it's negotiating with the web designer that's putting together your website, or putting together the email. Maybe you're hiring copywriters to do your emailing, whether now it's time to get on the phone with a prospective client and actually have a sales conversation, whether it's sitting down to have coffee, whether it's going to a networking event, etc., etc. No matter how you can make excuses about how you don't need to network, you don't need to be able to be a great communicator, you got all these other streams of ways of getting people to the table. Once they're at the table, to be able to communicate and conversate and collaborate to create the income, influence, and impact that you're wanting to have, well, to be able to do that, that might be a really good skill to acquire. People are always talking to me about, Cami, what do I say? What do I say? That's the skill set. The words, we'll talk about the words. Stop saying try and actually do, right? Get rid of the word but and say and or however. We'll talk about the different skill sets, but it's the mindset. The mindset precedes everything and anything that we are doing ever, 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 ever. So how's your mindset? Are people seeing you as important? Do you feel important? When my aunt, thank you for the hearts, when my aunt said, you seem so important. I mean, my first response to that as a human being is, oh no. You know, because we do that. The people will say, oh, Cami, I love your necklace. Oh, this old thing, yeah, I got it on sale. Or, hey, you know, I love that dress you have on. Oh, it's 2 sizes too big. I should really get a new one. Like, people do that all the time. We're constantly downplaying a compliment. And that's one of the things I work with people on, too. When somebody gives you a compliment, learn to just say, thank you. Imagine that. That's a very powerful place to be. Thank you. Just say thank you. Instead of, oh, this old hand-me-down. Oh, I got this on sale. We all do it. And that's why when my auntie said, you look so important, my first thought, just as a human being, my gut response that I was trained as a child was, oh, no. But I really got to thinking about it. Why did she see me that way? And you know what? I do feel that way. I am important. I am important. I am important to me, and that's what's important. I'm important to me, and that's what's important. So it doesn't matter, really, anything else as long as you feel important. And then when you can project that out, people will see you as important, as the authority, as the expert. And of course, you want to use the right language. For example, Robert Kiyosaki talks about using the right language when you are talking about real estate. You know, I'll tell realtors, you know, stop saying, hey, do you want to buy some property? It's more about acquisition. Would you like to acquire more assets, right? So we do want to use certain language, and I can work with people on the language aspect of it. But you can have the most beautiful words in the world, just exquisitely written scripts. You can read books all day long, but until you posture yourself to yourself, other people are never going to hear those words quite the way that they could have. So that's my tip for the day or for the week. I'm trying to not do too many Facebook Lives. I don't want to water down the information. And as you can see, I had to come outside my house because inside I was getting bad reception. Make an investment, Jeffrey Miller says. Absolutely make an investment. Guys, one of the reasons why experts are experts, thank you, Jeffrey, for this setup. I'm going to knock it right in the basket. One of the reasons that experts are experts is because they invested in themselves to learn how to be one. Experts hire experts so that they can develop their expertise. Experts hire experts so that they develop their expertise. Now you see this in doctors who go to school for 6, 8, 10, 12 years. They learn from experts how to create an expertise. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're in debt for years and years and years and years while they get their practice up. All these college kids are going to college, spending tens of thousands a year, working with experts to teach them how to be an engineer, a nurse, a teacher, internet, whatever it is that they're learning. So, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a person who is building a business, to invest in yourself, I'm telling you, and this, Jeffrey would tell me that's true too. Hi, Tammy White. That when you invest in yourself and your self-development, when you invest in self-development, that is a payoff that is 1,000 times the investment. Tammy Adams White, who is on here right now watching, knew me when I was little Susie Baker. I used to be Susie Baker when I was growing up. My full name, Susie, is part of my first full name. And when I turned 18, I decided to be called by my middle name, which is Cami, short for Camille. And I guarantee you, if you could talk to Tammy right now, she would tell you, wow, Cami Baker is a whole different person than little Susie Q Homemaker Baker. And it's because of how I feel about myself. It's because, to Jeffrey's point, I have invested, highly invested. Year before last, I invested $52,000 in personal development. Whether it was from one mentor, that was a $25,000 investment for a 6-month package, whether it was the flights and the hotels and the admission to different courses that I went to around the country, all of that. And I got to tell you something. It is the best investment you will ever make. How we all got sold out on go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and the government will take care of you forever. How we got sold out on that years ago, I don't know. How people are still getting sold out on it today blows my mind. People are going to college, they're spending tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a job or to get a degree in a field that they can't even get a job in. They end up working at something else outside of their whole career. So why wouldn't you invest a few $1,000s in yourself, in your mindset, so that who you're projecting yourself as, how you're investing is how you're coming out and coming through. As a matter of fact, I just had a really, really, really miserable personal thing happen to me. And it knocked me for a loop yesterday. And I was in the doldrums for a good 24 hours. But you know what? Personal development, being solid in who I am, being awake, aware, on purpose, and understanding, taking responsibility for things and moving on is important. Now, I'm on Facebook Live today, feeling pretty damn spunky and happy, realizing actually that situation, if any of those people are watching, that situation is actually a great book. And I might actually write a book around the whole thing, and it'll be based on a true story, and it would be awesome. I'd love to see myself as the next J.K. Rowling or something with a book that's turned into a movie and it's just a smash hit. It would be a cross between 50 Shades of Grey, some really soft, I don't know, novel, and suspense thriller. And I just lived through it. So I think I'll be writing a book about it. But the thing is, if it wasn't for the personal development that I've gone through, I would be a miserable wreck. I would be an absolute miserable wreck on the verge of a breakdown and going into the hospital. That is why, my friends, that Jeffrey Miller is right on point. That it is so important to invest in yourselves. Because when we invest in ourselves and we feel good about ourselves, then we can posture and package and present and position ourselves as the expert so that people that see us on Facebook recognize us out in the public, even when we got our hat on and our sunglasses on, because they see our whole presence, our language, our voice. They recognize it, they introduce themselves, and then they tell you, you seem really important. That's the lesson for the day. Are you being that? Private message me if you're not being received that way. If you don't look in the mirror, and say, wow, I bring value to my marketplace, damn, I need to call some people and I need to serve at a high level and I need to let them know this information because it's going to increase their business and make them better. If you don't feel that way about yourself, send me a private message because we can talk about that. And if you do feel that way about yourself, send me a private message because we can talk about how you can use it. How you can use it to be the event. I'll share this with you, and then I'm going to go, Isaiah Safari, I love you. I tell people all the time, I met this guy named Isaiah Safari, who's a personal trainer, and I told him I would love to get a hold of him because his name is so awesome. I could help market that all day long. So Isaiah, if you're ready to step into the Cami Baker experience, you reach out to me too. So here's one of the things I'm getting ready to do. In one of my most recent talks, it was to a place called the Jericho Foundation, which is a nonprofit, and they had me come in to speak at Eastern Bank in Massachusetts. So after the talk, a woman came up to me and she was telling me about this place called the Cannon Theater. There's a little plug. The Cannon Theater in Littleton, New Hampshire. And they are wanting to create funds, create more awareness, bring in board members, etc., etc. Love the store. Love this. Oh yeah, the house is beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. Had to say that. So this woman contacts me. She says, Cami, I love what you had to say. The theater needs funds. It needs people to know it's there. It needs board members that care. She said, I'm getting older and I want to bring in some young blood to keep this thing going. And so I'm going to be meeting with her and the board in a couple of weeks to go over how they can be the event. They're a theater that nobody knows, well, some people know about, but not enough people know about. So I'm going to help them gain posture and presence in the marketplace. I'm going to help them talk to people about how they can bring in board members. Help them understand that the passion that they have about their mission is how they need to talk to people so that they can enroll people spiritually and emotionally so that they are enrolled physically and coming to help and in being part of what they've got going on. So if you are solid and see your value and really do, like feel really good, I'd rather work with you anyway because it's easier. It's easier to work with somebody who is on this side of the positivity scale, who is already moving forward and just wants a little bit of guidance. Every time I talk to people, and I promise you this, send me a private message. If you really are interested, I'm going to send you a questionnaire with 10 questions so that I know that we're actually a good fit. And if we're a good fit when we get on the phone, you will be saying somewhere in 30 to 45 minutes, I never thought of that. Cami, I never thought of that. And I'm going to say, I know. That's why I do what I do. Because once I get into the energy of talking about your business and what your goals are, etc., I will give you tips and strategies to make your business grow faster, better, easier, in different ways, and you will love it. You will love it. I could go on and on about different tips that I've given people just because I get so excited when we're talking. I'm like, oh, here's what you need to do. Here's what we could do. Here's an event that you could plan. Here's a way to get more business, right? For example, I'll give you another one. This guy named Jeffrey that I met at an event that I spoke at Microsoft last week. And I met this gentleman named Jeffrey, and he is an artist, and he does murals. He'll do murals on walls. He can paint on the windows outside of a business. And I was giving him some tips on how to generate business. He would like to speak, maybe do some education. I said, Jeffrey, you could give the 3 tips brick and mortar businesses, the 3 mistakes brick and mortar businesses make that is repelling business from coming in the door. I don't remember exactly how I put it, but my point was he could teach people, he could show them that by having more color, more intrigue, more fun on the windows, because like when I was in Florida, when I lived in Florida on the beach and I had a bar on the beach, we used to have artists come in and paint beautiful things on our big windows because it's fun, it's light, it's airy, it's colorful, it grabs people's attention. Driving down the road and they've got these big windows that are hundreds of feet and square feet. It's one way to get eyeballs on your business, right? So I'm talking to him about that, and he said, I never thought about that. He's waiting for people to call him, and I'm telling him, hey, listen, why don't you educate people on why having your mural would do good? So on that note, I got to finish getting ready. I'm actually jumping on a plane first thing in the morning at the ass crack of dawn, as I like to say, jumping on a plane to California. I'm going to be going out to see my friends in San Diego. Hi, San Diego people. And I'm going to be speaking at The Nest in San Diego on Tuesday next week, Tuesday the 28th, 6:30. I'll be at a co-working space out there, and I am looking forward to it. Not only the nice weather, although it's pretty nice here today in New England, but also just getting back in touch with my California people. So hit me up, private message me, go over and like my public figure page, because once my personal page is full, I got to start doing these over at my business page. So love you guys. Talk soon. Bye.